Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody. How are you? Good evening to you from wherever you're at, or good day, whatever that works for you. Anyway, welcome to Spiritually Ron. Thank you so much for your energy exchange with us today, and we hope you woke to the most miracle morning and are also having the most fortunate day today. All right, so give us a minute. We're going to get in our rhythm here because it's a nighttime show for us. Brain's got to process this whole thing. I'm sure it needs no introduction, but our soul sister Danielle Matthews is here with us today, and to hang out with us so we can get caught up on a lot of cool stuff that we haven't in a while. With this opening up the pineal gland and really getting this, really finding this better version of you using our good friends that are blue and are white. Okay, so Danielle, how are you? It's good to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back on.
Yeah, thanks. We haven't done this.
I named the show today the God Code Gateway.
You did?
Yes. And the pineal gland, what did I call it? The pineal gland something or other. But that's the whole thing. We have not talked about this in a while, and it came to me today, and I thought, what, normally we always refer to it as the elixir of the gods, but there's so much going on, and it's helped us so much. And I've noticed such what I really have noticed so much is that the intuition that I am receiving on a daily basis, the messages are so clear, and they come in like, you hear a lot of people talking about, I get a download of this and a download of that. And that is the God's honest truth. Messages are just literally flooding in because the pineal gland is being decalcified. And there are quite a few things I want to talk to you about today, Danielle. And,
that implies a long show.
You're up.
Like the hot topic that everybody keeps talking about, not only obviously with Asea, but it's the glutathione.
Oh yeah.
And I know that the Asea also incorporates or activates or help us understand, how does it work with glutathione, or what does it do, and what exactly is glutathione, and why do we need to know about it?
And are we saying it right?
All the things. I know. Try and type it. Try and write that word. But yes, glutathione, it's an antioxidant that the body makes. It's an antioxidant it's one of our master antioxidants. So it helps your body detoxify. It also helps your body deal with inflammation. And what's interesting with supplementing with glutathione, because it's such a powerhouse, right? People obviously want to help their systems and add more in. After my car accident, they actually put intravenous glutathione, like IV.
Oh, wow.
No kidding.
Yeah, because glutathione, again, with the amount of inflammation that was in my system after that, it helps the body, get that inflammation under control and detox the system. But people trying to supplement with it, like, it's hard. You can't take like a pill of it because your stomach acid breaks it down, and so it's like tricky. That's why they did IV for me. That was pre-Asea. But when we finally found the Asea, it's one of the things Asea does, and I've always been blown away because with Asea, with the redox signaling, these molecules, these reductants and oxidants, that's what redox stands for, right? So they're like trillions of little molecules that all have different roles and are signaling different things. And one of the things that they signal is the glutathione to be upregulated. So one of the studies that they did was they found that glutathione upregulated by like 800% with the Asea. And I'm like, that's massive. Like if that's the only key it played, like that'd be a massive key. Glutathione is low in kids with autism. It's low in people with Parkinson's. Like it's something that people like myself that had a lot of inflammation in the body, like need more of. So it's a masterful thing when it comes to your body and helping your system regulate itself. But the other piece that's really cool, I don't know how much time you've ever spent actually looking at the back of this bottle, but one of the genes, there's a gene study that was done.
I have never actually, to be honest with you, Danielle. So
she's a biologist.
I had a hunch. I was excited.
What she does for fun.
But no, so stay with me on this one, April. One of the genes that's listed there, that the study was done back in 2017. It took healthy young people, right, 35-year-olds, and it said, okay, we'll put you on Asea, we'll put you on salt water, we'll put you on nothing, and let's look 8 weeks later and see what's going on. And 8 weeks later, the group that did nothing had no shift in their genetic expression. The group on salt water, no shift. The group on Asea had an increase between like 20 and 31%. All of them, 100% had an increase. It just the amount of increase varied. And they looked at 5 key genes, and one of them was a gene called EGR1. That gene, think about like, when you set up dominoes as a kid and like you knock over one and then like they all go. So EGR1, you turn it on and it hits all these different things: circadian rhythm. It hits the NRF2 pathway, which is the pathway that helps with antioxidant production. Like there's a product out there on the market that just works on that NRF2 pathway. And I'm like, wow, like our product touches that one and all the others. It's absolutely incredible. And so your NRF2, the antioxidant production, like your body's own innate glutathione is going up. You don't have to supplement with it. Like literally just activates what you already have.
What's this?
That's awesome.
We've oh man, what's it been now? It's we're going on 10 months, I think, on this whole ride, right?
Yep.
And it's been really incredible, and we really get to, again, we're really super grateful for you, and just, I mean, you literally have walked this walk all the way through with us, literally.
I don't think we were walking. I think we were running.
Track shoes.
Do you then there's these things we're learning, right? So as we go through this, and I want to circle back to the benefits of it, but then there's something another phrase that we talk about, but I don't know what it means, and I think a lot of people don't. Is how you say mitochondria?
Yeah, mitochondria.
Can you explain to us what that means and how it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, you're going all science on me tonight. All right, I like it. So inside of every cell, you have mitochondria. It's like, if you remember back to biology class, they call it the power plant of the cell, because the mitochondria is where your energy is made, your ATP. And that's done during the Krebs cycle. And typically that's when these reductants and oxidants are made in your body. After puberty, though, your mitochondria are less efficient. And so you are making less ATP, less energy, but you're also therefore making less redox signaling molecules. And so that's why we see a decline after puberty in the amount of redox in the system and the amount of the signaling. And so the beautiful thing with Asea is that they figure out how to make the same molecules that the mitochondria were already kicking out in the body, but have been doing less of. Now you can replenish your system supply. So, you don't need to worry about the fact that your system stopped being able to produce it, because now we can get your levels back up to, what they were when you were young, in a way that like your body naturally understands and knows. It's like it can't hurt you. It's just going to help your system repair and, be in its optimum.
When you think about it, so you're saying basically around age 12, 13, 14 is when we start to see a severe decline. So when you think about that, that is a very short amount of time that we have the maximum benefits going on in our body. It is, when you think about it, that's a really young age to start losing.
So that's literally, though, when the dying process starts, right? Technically.
Technically, that's when the mitochondria are becoming less efficient. So that's when they say it's about 1% a year. I forget who I was listening to that I heard that, but it's about 1% a year less. So initially you don't really notice it, but after a decade goes by, like, well, that's 10%, another 10%, another 10%, you start to really notice it.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Just going through this journey, I tell you, it's like we've. I remember when you said to us, you said, you'll get people that'll start reaching out to you and sharing all these experiences. It is wild, Danielle. I have to tell you, it's like all day long on the phone. You know what I mean? It's like, people are just texting you and or emailing you, and what the difference it's making. Is there, I know it sounds like a funny question, but what do you think has to happen for like this company or the founders to get like the Nobel Peace Prize? Because this,
that's true.
I mean that legitimately, because I've never seen a mass or wave of people in my lifetime that have just been so profoundly affected, and their lives have profoundly been changed, whatever age group. You know what I mean?
I know. You see why I'm still like 8 years into this as excited as the day I started, probably more excited. I think when you all started, I said, you're going to get paid in goosebumps. Like, just wait. Just wait, because it's coming. And it's such a good question. Like, I do wonder, like, there was a Nobel Prize awarded in the field of redox signaling for the first person, I think, that discovered that like these molecules existed. I think it was for nitric oxide. And I don't know, I wondered, but I think there's interesting dynamics at play. on the world stage for these types of things. And I think that the pharmaceutical industry has a like.
They're playing
Do you think it's been they have suppressed it?
Yeah, I mean, so when I first learned about Asea, I Googled about it. Okay, and when you Google, you're going to find all sorts of stuff, right? And you don't know who's behind it. And I found this one website, and I remember like saying to my mom, look, these are doctors, Mom. They're saying it's salt water. Like, you clearly didn't do your research, and you know your friends lost her mind, because if you remember, an acupuncturist shared it with my mom, and I was saying that's crazy because of this one website. Well, fast forward to the point where they finally convinced me just to try it. It changes my world, and I'm like, yeah, but how come those people were saying that on the internet? You know, like naive me. And it was Dr. Silverman. He said to me, Danielle, did you look at the doctors behind that website? And did you look at anything else on that website? And I said, no. And he said, go look. They were bashing chiropractic. They were bashing acupuncture, anything that wasn't a pill. And he said, every single one of them is tied to a pharmaceutical company. And he said, you have to be aware of where people's, like, what the motive is behind them posting certain information. And I just thought, holy cow. And that got me like this angry, like, well, they got me, you know, like I was totally like drawn into that. And that's not the truth. And now it's like, well, I can clearly see the truth because I've experienced it. You all have now seen it in yourself. You've seen it in everyone you've shared with. Like, the power we have our hands on is incredible, but you know, you have to be delicate with it because yeah, there are people that are trying to not have something like this out there. I mean, the whole genesis of how this started, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the Genesis video or if I've ever even sent it.
I've never heard of it, to be honest.
Oh my God. We have to add it to the comments, and I need to send it to you guys. It is a dated video, so you're gonna laugh at, like, because it was like from 10, 12 years ago. But it's Vertus Norton, the founder of Asea, sharing the story of how it actually started and how he was really just looking.
I was just going to ask you, like, how did he start it? What provoked Nordis to even go down this path?
Yeah. He was sitting on the board of a biotech company that they were the ones that had been playing with salt water and had figured out how to stabilize these molecules. They had the machine. Their problem was they were only stable for 10 minutes and then they were, you know, back to saline. And they ran out of money. They had brought him in to try and help figure out either how to raise capital or get it viable. And
before we go any further, what was at their time? Why were they trying to figure it out? Did they know that they were onto something?
No, they were trying to sterilize dental equipment.
That was their mission.
They were trying to sterilize. They were trying to figure out a way to sterilize dental equipment. And as the story goes that I've heard, you know, and this is like from Tyler's mouth, like this is like direct, right? Is that a guy in the lab, I think Denny Robinson, you guys had her on the show. I think she actually interviewed this guy. I will have to dig up this video for you. The lab tech that was like, well, what do we have here? And he started drinking it, and it would literally shock him when he was drinking it because it was that charged. And I think he had a cold sore or something that, like, then it was gone. And he was like, well, how did that happen? You know, and that's when the curiosity got piqued as to like, well,
wow,
what do we actually make? Okay, so and then so that happens. This company starts to sell off assets. Vertus comes in with a group of investors and buys it. In his mind, thinking it's a business play, like I'm just gonna sell it, you know. And they had to get it stable longer. That was the whole thing. And this is where, again, like, I think there was divine guidance because I believe there was some mistake in something. Some machinery did something. I don't know. They got it to stabilize longer. Yeah. And so it had a shelf life. And so they thought, well, now we have a viable product we can actually sell. And that's when they courted these pharmaceutical companies because their intent was just to sell it to the pharmaceutical industry. And they had one sit down with them and say, like, we don't want you talking to anybody else. We want to purchase this from you. They offered multi-millions for it. The catch was that their production had to stop and their beta test group that they had on had to stop. And I have, well, Vertus shares in that video, you can hear him say it, but he basically said he morally couldn't go through with it. He said that's too harsh. Like, there's people that are, can you imagine, Jay, if like you were like, oh yeah, sorry, everybody that you're getting these texts from, it's changing their life. And you're like, yeah, We can't sell anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
He felt this obligation to get it to humanity is the only way I can put it. And he was 69 years old. I mean, he looked at
Which
this.
is more incredible.
That's incredible.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
At 69 years, he was, I mean, his whole life changed.
You know, it's interesting for people watching this, and I want to just kind of, because we all
never
go
too late. It's never too late.
Well, it's never too late, but also to the, okay, so, you know, all these people watching it, it's like they look at things like this and they're like, is it this? And they try to do a comparison. And I just want to share with you, there's just nothing to compare it to. You just, it's you know, we always say this, it just totally belongs on a different thing. You know, if anything, we've had Ethan Lucas on, a lot of you know him, and Danielle, I know you've been on the show, and several others like that. You know, one of the common things they say, and I want to ask you if you can speak to this, is that whatever they're taking already, this seems to boom, like next level it up. So what's happening there? Is it all? So I know it's amplifying the signal, so like as far as so we can communicate. But is it what people are saying, that it's like if you're taking something that makes that like just a shit ton stronger too?
It seems to amplify it. Yeah, it seems to be this like synergistic relationship. And the way I'll explain it is through an analogy. So it's like you've got construction workers coming to the job site. Like they'll sit there all day long if you don't give them materials to work with. You know, they need the materials. And with the materials sitting there, they're going to sit there all day long unless you have the construction workers there to go put up, like if there's you need both. Yeah. And so the redox they're the construction workers. They're the repair workers. And so often, and I think up to this point in time, all we've had to give our body is the materials. We've had, you know, the right nutrition. We've had CBD. We've had essential oils. We've had, you know, a glutathione injection. We've had blah, 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 blah. Like we've had all these things, which are great. There's nothing wrong with them and you need them, right? You got to keep eating healthy. You got to put the right things in. But a lot of times it's like people have been like just adding shingles to the house. Like, how come my roof's not better? How come my roof's not better? Well, the issue is you didn't have any roofers to go put the shingles on, you know? So some people find they actually need to take less of whatever they've been supplementing because now the body's actually using what they're supplementing. And that was the issue, that they didn't have the workers. Or it's amplifying because now it's actually being put to use because now you actually have something that's saying, hey, you go here and you go here. And that's what occurs. It's pretty interesting. Like when people watch their blood work, you know, I can't, like you, I get text messages all the time. Danielle, I just got my annual blood work and this has shifted and that shifted and these levels are up and that, you know, and it's like, yeah, all they added was redox. And so it's pretty cool to see how that then takes everything else you're already doing and amplifies it. Or, you know, in the case of like medications, I would never tell somebody to stop their medications, but it's like the medication's for a symptom, you know? And so this isn't targeted at a symptom. Like a medication is targeted. This isn't targeted. This just goes in and kind of feels out what needs to be repaired. If it repairs it, that symptom might also go away. And so then, you know, that can go away.
You know what's so interesting? Before we met, I never in my life ever heard of cell signaling. That was so foreign to me. But
stem cell or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, stem cell for sure, but not cell signaling, which is the key to the whole thing. And that made such logical sense because if the cells are not communicating, going back to what you just said, right? How's it going to really know where or how to repair it? It's just more or less masking it. Where this is communicating and going right to the source and going right to the problem area, and not only building it, but I think it's rebuilding it, it's repairing it, it's rejuvenating it. Yeah, it's literally resuscitating it. We recently had an experience with Jay's mom, and I mean, when you witness this firsthand, especially with someone in their 80s, it is absolutely miraculous. She had surgery. She had a plate in her foot.
Sorry, Mom, in advance.
She doesn't want to talk about it with her little broken English, but she'd be able to pull it off. She kicked something, and it moved the plate. Ooh. And she let it go, not realizing, not paying attention to it, and it got severely infected. Ooh. And they ended up having to take the plate out of an 80-year-old woman. So you know what that's like, surgery, then rehab, and the whole 9 yards. And it could have gone down a slippery slope really, really quickly. But we had her on the Asea for, I would say, probably 6 months. And I don't even know if it was 6 months.
No, it was
maybe
only like
3 months. Yeah,
3
3 months. We had her on the Asea for 3 months. This was before the accident. But ironically, it prepared her. Not only did it prepare her body, Danielle, it prepared her mind. This was somebody that was clinically depressed, crying all the time, had very hard, difficult things throughout her life, and never really was able to work through them or get through it. Right. So it's made her very emotionally troubled by it. So that was the first reason that we put her on the Asea, hoping that it was going to help with the emotional side of it, which I said to Jay, please do not get your hopes up, because she was so far advanced in a not a good way, declining way. I said, please, just whatever you do, don't get your hopes up. There's going to, we hope for the best, but, listen, she's 80 years old. It's been this way for a long time. And, you know what I'm saying? Miraculously, her personality shifted so quickly that if I hadn't seen it and witnessed it with my own eyes and someone told me, I would find it really hard to believe, because this person has done a complete turnaround mentally at 80, did a complete turnaround. Then she had the accident, which I thought was going to send her down that slope again. But and it would have before, it would have sent her on such a depression, going into the hospital, getting the surgery, having to stay in a rehab for a few weeks, the whole process. A month. She went in it with like a trooper. She went in it with the best attitude. And I kept saying to Jay, I can't believe this is your mother. This is absolutely unbelievable. She went in it with such a great attitude, which accelerated the healing. Right. And we took it into the rehab, which of course they didn't, they were all poo-pooing on it. So we had to do it under the, everything was like on the down low, right? But she took it religiously twice a day. And we were having her take it double shots twice a day. The healing, and I took pictures of it because it was just unbelievable. The healing after a few days, normally when you have your foot surgery, it's going to just expand and blow up like a balloon, because all that pressure and blood is all running down to the foot. And it's the hardest place to heal because it's the furthest from the heart. Right. She had the least amount of swelling that I've ever seen.
Incredible. It was incredible. It really was.
Hardly she had bruising, but nothing that you would ever expect. So long story short, she gets out. They get her. She goes through the rehab like a trooper. She did all the exercises. She didn't complain. She didn't argue once. Went along with the whole program. She stayed at our house for like 3.5 weeks to recuperate after that. And she had her first doctor's visit, the guy that did the surgery. Less than a week ago, and he looked at the foot and he goes, "What are you even doing here?" He's like, "You don't even need to see you." The doctor was absolutely blown away at the feeling. And the physical therapists that come to the house after the surgery, they were completely shocked at the results. And I kept saying, and it was this, and then as soon as she got the stitches out, this went on the foot, and this is what healed the not even that she had that much bruising, but it took away all the bruising, and the scar is like minimal.
We live in on a second floor kind of thing, and so he freaked out because she walked down the steps and just started walking, and so he's like, "Oh, don't do that. Just take a couple of steps here or there." And I was like, I didn't say anything. And it's like, but she was like, I'm fine. I'm like, she's like, so she walks down and stuff. What's interesting on that whole thing is that, like you said, I mean, it's like just a real life example. We personally have got the witnesses. It's a mind, body, spirit that's been affected at that level.
Which is why she healed so much quicker too, because her mind was in such an elevated place. But when she had the surgery and she went in with a great attitude, and that expedited it just miraculously.
That's a great picture. I want to ask you this. How do you explain to people, because people ask us all the time, and I know because there's things we're not allowed to say. Okay, so I just want to kind of throw that out there to everybody, because people ask this. Will it cure this? Will it cure that? Will it help me with this? Will it help me with that? I know we all ask those questions, and I know everybody watching this and that will watch this afterwards will want to know those questions. What is the way we're allowed to answer this, just to let people know that, hey, we're not trying to answer your question, but we can only go so far. Can you help us?
Exactly. So the way that, because Virtus walked away from that deal with the pharmaceutical company and he said, I'm going to bring this to market a different way, he shut the door on making a medical claim. So in our country, you have to be a drug if you are able to cure, heal, treat, or prevent anything. That's just like the way it works. So we're a cell signaling supplement. And what's interesting is, like, you wouldn't even want to go down like the drug route with this, because that's for one application and you spend millions for like, oh, it does this for Parkinson's. But like, what about all the other things you just saw? You know what I mean? So it was a strategic decision to not go that route, because then you're pigeonholed into one thing. So we touch a lot of keys on the piano. So the way that we can talk about it is, you can talk about structure function. We can explain to somebody, look, just connect the dots here for yourself, right? Does your issue have a cell involved? Yes. Like, you are trillions of cells. Is this going to go in and support your cells in repairing? Yes. What is that going to mean for you? Well, where are your cells damaged? What are we going to see happen in you? It's going to be different to each person, because your damage is different. Like, where your mom's damage was is different than where I had damage. And so, when you think about that, it's like, we can't make a claim. It's not like we're trying to avoid the question, but the thing is, it's also like not designed for diabetes. It's not designed for like XYZ issue. Like, it's non-specific. We're so trained and programmed about medicines, and it's for this specific
issue. This fixes that, and that fixes this, and yes.
This is like, this goes into your system and it says, okay, your cells, your foundation, we're going to amplify their ability to talk. Well, what's that going to mean? Well, what happens when you get a really solid foundation? Like, that'll trickle up to whatever tissue that cell's involved with, whatever organ that tissue's involved with, whatever system of the body that organ's involved with. That's you, And the cool thing, and this has been, I think, really, like, you guys kicked it off. Like, I have been using Asea for 8 years. You all came into my world March of this year, right? Something happened this year where all of a sudden I was talking to way more healthy people like yourselves, people that weren't having an issue that they were looking to fix, but that were in like this optimum state of health already, like myself. And it's like, okay, well, what is this going to do for us? Like, what happens if you amplify communication in a body that's like, the physical being is really solid? Then what happens? And like, that's cool. What we've all been seeing and what you guys have experienced, it's really nice.
It is. It's awesome. Before I want to tag on something that you just said, Danielle. How can you help Mike? How can you answer this for him?
Yeah. So Mike, the question is, how about kidney repair and liver repair? Yeah. So here's what I can tell you. When you drink the liquid, it's going to go where your body deems most necessary first. And so what that is might not be what you consciously think it should go to, but what the being knows that it needs to go to. So your physical body is going to start to repair internally where you need. If you get the gel, what's nice about it is it's like you can rub it directly over the kidney or the liver, right? And just put extra workers right into that spot, because if you know you have an issue there, you can just say, hey, I want more attention in this area. That's what's really nice about this. Like, yes, it's designed for the skin. Yes, we all want our skin to look young and healthy, but the truth is it goes deeper than the skin. So you can really amplify the call for help there. And, there's not a challenge I haven't seen it touch. It's just like, it just takes time. So you got to play with, do I need 4 ounces a day, 8 ounces a day? Is it going to take 1 month to see what I'm trying to see? Is it going to take 3 months? It's not a magic pill. Like, let's be clear. This is just helping the body to repair itself.
I want to mention something Lisa just said. Asea has helped as a conductor take my mind to heal my body fully. I haven't had a health insurance in 20 years, and I understand you can't say that, but I will. Now, this is interesting because when Jay and I started it, we didn't have, like our mother, we didn't have any major issues at all that we were trying to heal or repair. We took it for an entirely different reason. We took it because we wanted the connection to source energy. We wanted the clarity. We wanted the peace of mind. We wanted the focus. We wanted the energy, the sustained energy. So there is so much that it does for you, for whatever it is, like whatever it is that you're focusing on. For us, it was, we wanted to maintain a higher level of health and wellness. And for me personally, it was this, which is the radical anti-aging for the skin, which Danielle was touching on. And there is no I am literally a makeup junkie. I am a skincare junkie. I've tried every product known to mankind, and there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, that even comes remotely close to this little white tube. If anyone is looking for skin instant gratification, this is it right here. This is radical anti-aging for the exterior, and this is radical anti-aging and healing for the interior. I'm 55. I'll be 56 in July, and you can see this is not a normal 56-year-old chest or neck. This is because of these products. They have done miraculous things, not only for the interior, but for the exterior as well. And, you know, Jay's 51. And we are literally not only in the best mental shape of our life, we are in the best physical and spiritual shape of our life.
You know, when I started taking this, I took this in a way it made sense to me. Like we talked about so much, Danielle, it just made sense to me. Okay, well, look, you know what? I don't really want to, was that trampoline?
Yeah, this is a new one. I don't know. Maybe Danielle can help us with that one.
I don't want to like, you know, continue. Like, you know, it's like, how long do you sustain the insanity? And then, like we talked about earlier, is like taking all these supplements. Like, so I was taking 7 to 8 supplements. I'm not telling people stop, and we're not here, but so you could never ever figure out what the hell works, so you continue to take it all, right? And so that was the journey I did. And again, by doing this, it helped me do that. Now, you know what's interesting is this is the kind of stuff, as time has gone by since we first met, like in March, and as time's gone by, as we get into the year here, I had a lady call to order today, and her reason for ordering today was, I want to vibrate at a higher level so I can create more abundance in my life.
I love it.
Isn't that something?
Awesome.
I mean, isn't that something? Like, you never stop hearing why people are using this. This is why we initially called the show the Elixir of the Gods. People are calling it the God Power Spark. You know, the God access to the God molecule. What'd you name it today?
The God Code.
Yeah, that one. And but that, right? So there's like a real spiritual benefit. And I will tell you this, and you get this consistently. And I've seen this, Danielle, with people. Whether it's Asea, whether they're obviously promoting it like we are, or sharing it that way, but even if they have other businesses, they're talking about, once they've started taking this, that their other businesses have been more prosperous. Mm-hmm. And I think it has to do with vibrating just at that beat of the universe. What do you think? What's your 8 years of experience showing you?
Yeah, well, I've always said that people have like this Asea glow about them. And somebody made a comment about us, that the 3 of us look different than the last time we were all together.
Yes.
No doubt.
Saying it.
Thank you.
But it is. It's like there's a shift in your energy, and everything's energy. And when you're at a higher frequency, you're at a higher vibration, you attract in differently. And it's, I mean, we're all seeing it. I've watched it happen with you all this year, and it's happened in my own life, and it is so powerful. So to be able, I do think though, you have to get your physical body well in order to get there. Like if you've got something weighing you down in your physical being, that has to repair. That's probably where the redox is going to work, before these other things start to occur. That's just, my sense of things with what I've seen. And the thing is, you can't take too much of this stuff. So if you want to see things faster, just take a little bit more. Like it's not, it's not going to hurt you. Somebody made a comment. Oh, go ahead.
No. I want to get to Christine's question in a second, but Danielle, you just touched on something, and maybe we could also help Mike here. You cannot take too much of this because it is not a medication, and it's not a medication. It's not a drug. It's not going to interfere at all with any medication that you're already taking. Now, that being said, When you do take the Asea, you may notice that you may not need as much of the medication or as a high dosage. So always make sure to go back to your doctor to have a checkup, and because there is a high probability that you maybe need to reduce the amount of medication. So, but it will never interfere with it. Before we get to the pregnancy question, Mike, so I had an awakening and I didn't want any in my life, and I'm doing a fasting, but at 50, I just had a birthday and are on a calling, but seem to be blocked. Can it help? Yes. If you are referring to you're having a blockage in terms of clarity and mental clarity blockage, this will wipe away the cobwebs. It is going to eliminate the cobwebs. It's going to clear out all the funk and the junk that's inside your mind, and it's going to give you that your mind is going to be so crystal clear and so laser focused, and your connection to source energy is just going to be at an all-time heightened level. That is, if we had to remove everything and this said, you know what, all this ever is going to do for you for the rest of your life is going to give you a heightened spiritual experience,
that in itself,
I'm done. I all day long for the rest of my life, and I don't care.
When I first started taking it, I remember like the changes. I started feeling it very, very quickly within the first week myself. I know everybody's got their own thing. That was me, but I do remember this. Like, do you remember me saying, I was like, man, I feel like I'm freaking seeing a panoramic.
I remember you saying that.
Very aware. I'm like really, really cool. I'm like, everything's like crystal clear. I could feel like like that slow drop in a river. It's like boom, like that. It's like that kind of clear, weird feeling like that. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, Mike, brother, just you'll get an amount, and then something needs to open up. All right. If you're looking for that, like everybody's looking for what's my calling? What's my purpose? What's my thing? Right. And we all want that. I mean, we're not destined to work like that. We're here to serve in some fashion and enjoy it.
Life.
So what's your calling? I will share with you. This will amplify, like it's amplifying the cells. It'll amplify the path or whatever to help you with your calling. Okay, the pregnancy question. That's always like, how do you even answer that one?
Yeah, well, you'll see on the back of the bottle, right? It says like consult with your doctor, because that's what anything when you're pregnant, says consult with your doctor. Here's what I can tell you from my own experience. I've had several friends, a couple that doesn't live too far from you guys, actually. They have 5 kids, and she took it through the last 3. Really? I've got another friend. She's been on the product for 12 years. Denny's daughter. She was actually told she wasn't going to be able to have children because she went through chemo as a teenager during puberty. And they said, you're not going to be able to. Well, she's been on Asea. They got married. They wanted to try. She got pregnant immediately. And she's now had 2 super healthy little boys. I think they're going for a third. Like, it's like they're doing well, and she's taking it the whole time. And because there's nothing in here that's not in you and that's not in the baby, like it's totally fine to take. Obviously, consult with your doctor if you want to. Look at the ingredients, take it in. But there's plenty of people that have and have had no issue. There's a midwife that I work with that she recommends it, with all the people she works with, because it's so safe. Like, there's nothing safer than water. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that your body already knows, what it is. And what's really interesting is postpartum. It's been, I think I saw something about like someone that had looked at the placenta of someone that had been taking Asea through her pregnancy, and like they were blown away at how healthy it was.
That's insane.
That's really great.
I want to just remind everybody too, there's a link scroll in there too. So when you go to that link, don't try to order yourself, okay? Because it's a journey. It's not buying a product off a shelf. It looks like it is, but it's not. There's a right way and there's not a right way. So let us help you with the right way. That's why we have a phone number right there that'll walk you through it. So just reach out to that, because if you're going to take on and say, let me give this a go, and you don't want it to be just one of these other things that you tried and that didn't work out, then call us so we can help you get that effect, so to make sure that it is not just one of those other things that you tried that didn't work out. Because this right here, You do this the right way, this could very well change the trajectory of your whole life forever and really get you on track and find your purpose, find your feeling, the discomforts, all that stuff. I mean, it very well could just open up what you're doing. Look at our videos from a few months back ago, and just we'll see what you see for yourself.
Well, that's really why we're sitting here today. It was never our intent to bring this into YouTube or into anyone that watches the show. It was actually the absolute last thing on our mind. I didn't want any parts about bringing it into the public. But when we were having such miraculous, hi Jay, and we were having such miraculous experiences with it, I said to Jay, we have a due diligence to share this with everyone, because if we feel this great, it is our duty to let other people know. And if you're watching a lot of other YouTubers, especially the truthers, they're all on the same Asea wagon. And there's a reason why, because all of us are having miraculous experiences, not only with the radical anti-aging, the visual part of it, but the inside, the interior, what it's doing for us on the inside,
which is the most important part, really, at the end of the day, anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like how you
because we all want to live younger, longer,
and stronger. Younger, longer, and stronger. And again, your best thing to do when you do try this and you do go through it is to don't treat it as if it's another thing. Just, it's completely new. You're walking into a very different theme park. Okay. Yes. Right, Danielle? Sure. I mean, would you say?
Well said. Yes.
I'm just trying to do analogies as best as I can, but that's, I just, the best thing you can do for yourself is not give it a comparative thing, because there's absolutely nothing that you'll be able to compare it to.
And don't expect a miracle overnight. I'm not saying you may have a miracle overnight. Jay and I are very in tune to our bodies, so we felt the effects of it very, very quickly. And you also had mentioned on one of the shows, it wasn't Denny, somebody, who was it? She had she took it and she felt an immediate reaction. Trish, thank you.
And she was like, boom. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And many people that we talk to are feeling the effects of it rather quickly. But then again, it depends on where you are within your, your health. What, are you, do you have major issues? Is there some major concerns? Then it may take a little bit longer. Like Danielle, she's a brain trauma survivor. So in the beginning, no, she didn't feel a miraculous. She didn't have the experience that Jay and I had in the beginning at all. It took her not 1 month, not 2 months. It took her 3 months. And it was towards the end of the 3rd month is when she had a major turn in her life and realized that there's something really incredible going on here. And it completely altered her life.
Now you look like you actually are a spokesperson of a Fortune 500 company.
Hey.
For real. I mean,
true.
It really is. I mean, it's great. Hey, Diane, how you doing there?
This is pretty. Said something about a trampoline and jumping.
Yes. What's your thoughts on this one?
So she just joined the conversation. Like, redox is something that I've been super curious about. Like, are there ways that you can get more redox in your body? Can you do something innately? The answer is no, because it's coming from the mitochondria. There's nothing that you can't eat a certain food, you can't do a certain thing to make your body have more. So I don't know when people say that they're redoxing and jumping on a trampoline. I'm not sure what that is. I know that people jump to clear their lymph system. I know there's different things that people do to just help stimulate things in the body. But I've not.
We can safely say don't try that one at home, right? Thing, right? That's true. That is, you never know anymore. So I don't know. Listen, everybody, it feels like we've been on this for 9 months now. We've been reporting on this, if you would, since March, and here we are in December. So 9 months now. And this is the journey we are continuing to have. I mean, we continue to show up here all the time on this because we want to update you on what it's like. Number one, we want to express our incredible gratitude to Danielle, you, for just helping us help so many people. And really, And then, obviously the founders of the company, and we want to express our gratitude just that, holy smokes, there's a real this what we thought in March is like, okay, this is pretty cool, that it gets better.
It does
better. It's
that's
like
the best part.
it
does not plateau, because that
it
was
doesn't
my
plateau.
concern.
Yeah, you think that it would.
Right. I was feeling so great, and I was so concerned that I thought, because most things eventually plateau.
I remember you kept saying that. You're like, you think we're gonna plateau? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm
and
like,
it absolutely
just take
has
more.
not.
I guess if we do, right?
Yeah, that's true.
We take more, but we haven't had to take more.
I haven't had to, though. But
as a
it
matter
has not plateaued at all. It just keeps getting better and better and better.
You know what's interesting? As a matter of fact, there's, just because of the days and stuff, there's times where we just forget to take it. You know what I mean?
The second shot.
Because it's just getting, but it's getting better. It's like you're getting higher and higher, and you're getting younger and you're getting younger.
Well, and the other reason that we, not too often, but maybe like once or twice a week, we'll be like working, and then we're like, oh my God, it's 8 o'clock. We forgot to take it. And it's because before we really felt like the body needed it. And as soon as like it got around that 4 o'clock hour, I'd be like, oh, I can feel it. I need it. But because we're on it now for a longer sustained amount of time, it's I don't know, Danielle. It seems like
it's like a layers peeling away, Danielle. Like, right? I mean, is that it's literally like that. Like, I feel like every time just a new version just keeps popping out, a new thought process, a new, more improved version of myself just keeps popping out. It's weird. In a good way, weird.
I know, and exciting. And I'm telling you, like, the ripple effect, like you saw with your mom, like when it gets personal to someone outside of you too, it just gets so exciting. We were like I just witnessed something that like the doctors can't even believe, but like I was there, and I'm there through it, and I'm there after. Like it's incredible, and you'll start to get messages from people too. Well, you already are, and it's wild. And the other piece that I would say is incredible that you all are also experiencing. See, you also, I think Asea creates this beautiful environment for people to also tap into their inner potential as far as the best version of themselves as a person, to show up and create abundance in their life, to be able to help other people create abundance, to start being around a community of like-minded people where they can actually like feel connected and feel good. Yes. Like it's just a beautiful energy that's created around Asea. Like the product's powerful, but also being part of the community that's sharing it. It's been amazing to me to watch just with you guys, like to get to meet, like I'm seeing names on here, like Satnam, getting to meet her and talk with her. There's such beautiful people that are being drawn in to help bring this to others. And that ripple effect is incredible. And I'll just say too, guys, if you're looking for a good community to be involved with, like I've been blessed to work with the two of you, and the people you're drawing in are just incredible.
Well, you know what, Danielle, I think that really goes back to the center of Asea. Jay and I have worked for a lot of companies. We were insurance and financial service professionals before we started any of this. And so, when you're in the insurance and financial world, you see a lot. And we've experienced the whole corporate thing. I've never had the feedback from a corporate company like we've had from Asea. These are people that are so heart-centered. These are people that care truly about your well-being. These are people that are on a mission to make the world a better place for everyone. These are people that wake up every morning and love what they do. These are people that when they go to work, the owners and the managers, if someone is not feeling well, they let them go home paid because they don't want that energy infused into their products.
They do now because you said it. Now they have to let them home go paid.
Well,
we wrote their HR manual.
That's what they said. And because they understand the importance of energy. Yeah. They don't want negative or if you're feeling down, they don't want that energy infused into their products. Yeah. These are people that are at a very high level of consciousness, which is why this product and these products resonate at a very high level of consciousness. These are literally 5D products.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's been waiting. Everybody's the med beds, the med bed. This is literally the med bed. It's just in a bottle. This is the high frequency healing, cellular healing technology that everybody has been waiting for. It just came in a different form, and it just so happens that it's in a blue bottle and a white tube.
You know, never in my life have I witnessed such a experience of people that are able to just want to show up and help support. You know what I mean? They don't see the world like that is being portrayed. You know what I mean? It's not their reality. You know what I mean? It's not. It's like, that's whatever. You know what I mean? See it that way if you want, but it's really helping you. I know, like Dr. David, he calls up all the time. He's like, hey, what can we do? And these are people that don't need to be here. They don't need to do this. They've made their world. They've accomplished what they need in their lifetime, but they go further to help us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a I don't know if we've talked about it on here, this concept of Ubuntu. That's what you're sensing, and it was a very intentional implementation of that into Asea's ethos, their like heart and soul. And Ubuntu, it's an African saying, and the best way I can describe it is like, I think the story goes that this researcher had said, like, look, he put like some sort of fruit or some like exciting food over one place, and there were all the kids, and he said the first person there gets to eat it all. And you know, here in the US, probably you'd run as fast as you could to get that and eat it, right?
For sure.
These kids joined hands, walked over together, and ate the food together and distributed it evenly.
Wow.
That's amazing.
This concept of Ubuntu, they said, because the guy was like blown away, he said, why? And they just looked at him like, well, of course, Ubuntu. It means I am because we are. Like,
I am because we are. That's beautiful.
This
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I'll put this out there for anyone listening. I don't know where you live. Janie, I don't even know if I've talked to you about this, but Asea is getting together for their impact tour in like 3 places across the US and 1 place in Mexico at the start of next year. And if you really want to be connected with this community and touch in with the heart and like all of that we've been talking about, you should come. If you go to aseaevents.com, like I think they're they're in Texas in January. They're over in Charlotte, North Carolina in February. Where are they? In March, I think they're in Spokane, Washington. They go to Guadalajara, Mexico in January also. And you're going to get to hear from Scott Aldred, who you guys met. Like, he had the opportunity to leave. Like, he was at retirement age, and he wanted to go into service. And he said, he and his wife had a long conversation because he said, well, I can serve more people. Going on mission trips is one thing, but in my role at Asea, I can serve humanity on a massive scale. And he decided to stay because this is his service. And
wow.
like, that's the type of people that we're, working with, and people can connect in with that.
Thank you for sharing that. Danielle, and for everyone that's listening, this is just not for people. This is for people and pets.
Oh yeah.
And, I want to hit on this one. Now there's a typo, but she corrected it in the next one. Diane's bottle feeding a 4-week-old kitten that does not hates. There was a typo that she gets 1 tablespoon.
That's one hell of a kitten. Good thing it's born at your household, Diane. Holy.
That is so sweet. That is so beautiful.
Can you get this quick, Christine, while she's here? Just try to get that one more. Any conflict if the pregnant mom had taken 2 of the jabs? I'm thinking this could detox her.
Yeah, it's a good question. So obviously we can't make a claim, but think about, like we were talking about at the beginning of this conversation, this connect the dots, right? Glutathione is upregulated in the system. Glutathione helps the body to detoxify. Glutathione helps the body deal with inflammation. So the body is going to kick out anything that should not be there. So yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I'll tell you this, what I know, David has always shared with me since day one, Danielle, it can't hurt. Like, just remember those 4 words. It can't hurt, or cannot if you're doing 4. But yeah, it's something that I would say for this person, explore it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank you all for hanging out with us here today. We're gonna boogie along here. We wanted to kind of regroup and just reconnect and just let you know, hey, and here we are, going on 10 months now, and our story has changed to a much higher level. So we're solid. This is it. We're super happy to continue this journey, and we are blessed and privileged to get to continue this journey. And we know we would really be even more blessed and privileged to continue this journey with all of you. So we make a difference. And Danielle, again, we can't thank you enough. I mean, you know, that always goes without saying, and as far as what you do, and you show up not only on this show, but everybody else's, and just
you guys are a blast. It's exciting.
It depends on the day, right? But
Danielle's like,
yeah, it's all good. You know, we keep it in there.
And by the way, before we go, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to be on High Vibes Up with Ken and Candy, and we are doing, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Don't know what to expect. The psychic game show. So if anybody has any issues, you want any questions answered, it'll be a great time. 8 High Vibes Up, and we would love to connect with you there tonight.
So don't try to order yourself. Do call. We're really super happy to help you. It's such an important thing that we've been able to uncover at where we're at in our lives, and we just want to get you to have that same feeling, okay? And really, that's what we want to have for you. All right, everybody, thank you again for hanging out with us. Our links are in the description below. Thank you again, Danielle. Much love to everybody. Continued prosperity, continued health and wealth. Spread the word, spread the love. You know, do your thing. It's good karma. Any other final thoughts?
Yes, and together with Danielle Matthews' help and Asea, we are turning the universal key to global harmony and creating a unified world. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, tune in often, tell all your friends, and most importantly, call Jay about the Asea, and may all your beautiful dreams come true. Many blessings.